we're working quite, as you imagine, quite diligently to prepare for a safe and secure games. Frankly, we think with the protections that the organizing committee and the government of Japan and the Tokyo metropolitan government have put in place, it'll be one of the safest places on earth. And so we're very excited for what's ahead.
In terms of what happens next, obviously when we're talking about these COVID-19 protocols, they're working very hard within the Olympic structure itself. I'm talking about having a sick room. They're worried about athletes. We've already heard of at least one COVID case in preparation for all of this amongst some of the athletes. What's your take on that in terms of how difficult it would be if COVID-19 becomes a real problem? What does that do in your view to the games themselves?
I think the thing to keep in mind for us that we have is the athlete experience. So first and foremost, what we and organizers have been trying to protect in this year-long effort to reorganize the games is to remember that the athlete experience is the most important thing. Many people have put their lives on hold, or that this is their life in terms of training and being ready for the games. And so, whether it's true as an athlete, whether you have a good day or a bad day on the field, so much is at stake. And we want to ensure as best we can that something like COVID and an athlete's safety does not interfere with realizing their life's dream.
Carolyn, come into this conversation because when we talk about the Paralympic Games and in terms of that narrative, how important is this when we talk about the broader conversation about inclusivity, that we make sure that these games go ahead safely?
Look, the Paralympics is one of the most watched events in the world, and it really is a huge global moment to realize and understand and have a conversation about the 1.3 billion people in the world who have a lived experience of disability. And that's transformative. And we have to remember after the 2012 games, just how different our view was about a global conversation of disability. And in fact, people with disabilities had a greater chance of employment. So aside from the fact that it's an incredible moment for athletes, all athletes, Paralympian athletes, or the Olympian athletes, it's a great moment for us to challenge the perceptions of inclusivity, how we move from a moment of games, which happens once every 4 years, or in this case, once every 2 years to the next Olympics, to something around how we challenge how we all are inclusive in the world and how sports can deliver that, but how we are inclusive in every day of our lives. And I think this moment is really important for us, particularly after COVID, when we've been exposed to kind of the gross inequity and injustice in our world. So this is a moment for us to move forward to see how we can see how everybody's potential can be realized.